这一次论坛，我们特别邀请了来自跨国产官学界的重量级贵宾齐聚一堂，共同来探讨在最新 AI 浪潮之下，台湾对未来10年有何展望。尤其台湾虽然是在全球土地面积只有占大约3/1000的岛国，但是我们是世界上最大的电脑晶片生产地。刚刚总统也提到，我们更掌握全球非常多晶片制造的关键，高达90%高阶晶片制造都在台湾。这是 AI 时代兵家必争的战略物资。因此，今天的论坛也将从全球的视角出发，深入来剖析 AI 时代的跨国策略，从在地制造到迈向全球共享繁荣的新愿景。Next, we move on to another key highlight of today's press conference, Glider Silicon, the crystal heart of AI foreign. 好，接下来让我们一一介绍论坛语坛人。第一位语坛人是法国在台协会主任龙烨 ，Director of French Office in Taipei, from Paris. Please come up to the stage. Thank you. 第二位语坛人是德国在台协会处长狄嘉信 ，Director General of German Institute Taipei, Carsten Thies. Welcome to the stage. 第三位语坛人是宏基集团创办人施正荣，施创办人，请上台，请工作人员引导就座。第四位语坛人是经济部政务次长何敬仓，何次长，请上台，请工作人员引导。第五位语坛人是无任所大使黄清勇，黄大使，请上台就座。最后是今天的语坛主持人 CNN 资深国际特派员 Will Ripley。Our moderator for today's panel is CNN Senior International Correspondent Will Ripley. Now I'd like to hand this over to Will, who is going to lead the forum. Will, over to you.
Thank you very much. We even have mic flags that like when I was back in local news, we used to stand at the scene and report. So I hope we all enjoy our moment in the sun here. Everybody who's sitting on this stage plays a crucial role in Taiwan's AI story. But I think we might all agree that none more so than Mr. Stan She. So I would like to start with you because you really built Taiwan's ecosystem by hand, from scratch. And 50 years ago is when you started Acer back in 1976. So first of all, congratulations on 50 years.
Yes, thank you.
I'd love to get your thoughts on if you ever dreamed of Taiwan being in the place it is now when you started 50 years ago. And also, what your vision is for Taiwan for the next 50 years.
Okay. 1976, I bring the microprocessor from US to Taiwan and doing all the application. Actually, AI today is still application of the microprocessor. And in 1989, I envisioned Taiwan become high-tech island and a global citizen. And it's now. In 2016, I envision for Taiwan again become a innovation island, Silicon Innovation Island. And Silicon is no Silicon now, but they still represent the innovation. So Taiwan in the future is the innovation island. Then is our Oriental civilization, is the Silicon civilization for the future. Today, Taiwan really make the civilization of the material for the world today. But in the long run, we were doing more, especially like in AI application for healthcare, AI application for culture and art and others. So I think Taiwan is represent the AI island for future. Thank you.
And Deputy Minister, can you take us inside the government's strategy to help support the creation of this AI island?
Yes, I think AI from the chip to server already provide all over the world. But the key is using the innovation application in Taiwan to serve the future other requirement. I have a vision about Taiwan should become a sole tech for third world, service-oriented technology. For third world is new definition, other than the US and the PRC. So Japan and Europe, is third world today for my definition because you don't have enough population. Doing the new application, scale is matter, and Taiwan can become a heart of future new AI application. Edge computing, we have a lot of capability here, so we think we should serve for the third world of the requirement. Of course, the first world, the US already doing a very close relation. We provide all the heart of the AI for them.
And obviously, as you know, the private sector must work very closely with the government. Deputy Minister, can you speak to the government's role in supporting this AI industry now in the immediate few years and in the coming decades?
现在全球正在进行一个非常激烈的 AI 军备竞赛那台湾扮演一个非常关键的一个角色，如同刚刚总统讲的，台湾有先进的 AI 的制造，我们有全球市占率最大的 AI 的伺服器的供给这些都是 AI 基础建设需要的一些这个必要的一个设施那当然，台湾在这样的一个全球 AI 的一个发展情况之下，台湾绝对不会是一个AI 应用的一个追随者那我们台湾绝对会是一个这个领航者那当然，现在政府也在推动 AI 新10大建设所以我们也希望说，把台湾的角色成为硬体的一个代工大国，我们把它转型为 AI 应用的一个强国。那未来我们希望达到这样的一个愿景的话，那政府的角色，我想我们应该可以从以下几点大家来共同来努力了第一个大概就是我们需要有稳定的供电因为 AI 的一个发展它需要有电力的一个供给那根据我们这个政府还有我们台电公司的一个盘点那其实我们未来2030年之前我们要提供半导体的生产制造，还有 AI 的应用的话，我们需要有增加5G 1000瓦以上的一个用电量那政府的角色当然就是希望能够提供足够的一个用电，所以我们在2034年以前，我们可以新增这个用电量可以达到这个供给量可以达到12.2G 1000瓦所以请大家放心，就是我们在电力供给上绝对会是稳定能源的一个供应。那第二个部分当然就是我们希望能够在既有的一个 IC 制造的基础里面，我们去强化我们的 IC 设计因为未来台湾要赢在设计那怎么样在赢在设计？刚刚总统也提到，我们现在提出了一个所谓精创台湾的一个方案。那台湾现在已经开始透过跟民间的这个合作，我们在一些先进晶片的这个开发，在各行各业的一个应用，特别是有一些 AI 的一个应用的技术，包括矽光子，包括3D AI 的晶片，还有散热的这个技术，这个都是未来在晶片的一个生态系里面非常重要的一个设施那我们怎么样能够来强化我们台湾晶片设计创新的这个能力？这是第二个。第三个部分就是我们要投资算力基础建设。那目前台湾大概有10部的这个我们讲说超级电脑。那这个超级电脑的全球排名，我们现在已经占到全球第9位。那台湾的这个算力也在全球的排名第13位。那未来3年台湾会再有3座的这个算力中心所以算力中心它是一个发展 AI 的一个 基础的一个很重要的一个建设哈，所以政府会跟民间大家一起来合作，强化这方面的一个设施。那第4点的部分就是我们怎么样能够开发 AI 模型的自主研发，好，如同刚刚施先生所讲到的哈，我们需要把百工百业所应用到的这个 AI 的这个需求哦，我们结合这个我们的这个软体产业哈，怎么样能够来扶植台湾的这些软体业，能够跟我们台湾的这些工协会能够来合作把产业的大数据的资料库应用到这个软体的开发里面，然后开发各行各业专属的这个行业别应用的这个 AI 的模型，然后推动百工百业的一个 AI 化。那当然最后我们希望透过政府的奖励政策，能够让我们百工百业在导入 AI 的过程里面，也能够降低成本，然后享受一些租税的抵减的优惠。所以我们现在在产业创新条例也已经修正了哈，我们把这个投资抵减的这个上限从这个10亿提升到这个20亿哈这个20亿元哈，所以让企业有实质的动力可以来进行 AI 的升级哈。所以透过这5项工作，我们希望能够把台湾这个硬体的优势延伸到高价值的这个软硬整合的系统，那确保 AI 在AI 的时代，台湾能够在这样的一个这个全球的核心地位能够稳固。
Ambassador, you are another who has witnessed this almost from the beginning, and we were chatting before about all the growth that you've seen. You've written 11 books about the topic, and you mentioned one statistic that there are now 1,000 electronics companies in Taiwan. And listening to the film and listening to President Lai talking about Taiwan being the beating heart, I thought that was an amazing analogy, and it really is true, isn't it now, that Taiwan is crucial and essential for this, certainly for semiconductors, for the industry to survive. Hearts can be transplanted, right? If there's a medical procedure and there's an emergency, it's possible. You can't transplant a brain, right? That is not yet medically possible. So do you see, in addition to being the heart, do you also see progress in Taiwan becoming the brain for AI moving forward into the future as well?
Yeah, thank you. I believe the industry not develop within 1 year, even 10 years. We are so lucky. Not many countries develop high-tech industry successfully. Taiwan is one of them. And we appreciate Stan, 50 years ago, he started up Acer Computer. Before Acer, actually, Taiwanese mostly, we follow the steps of Japan. And people say we are one of the 4 dragons. But personal computer changed us. And I came back to Taiwan in 1985. Government recruited 20 young men to formulate a strategy for the country. I'm one of them. Actually, I'm the youngest one. I'm still young.
Not that anybody's counting, right?
But I witnessed. Actually, government even recruit and hire me, appoint me to Hsinchu Science Park to formulate a strategy for the park. So I witnessed Taiwan from scratch to today. Let me explain to you at first by industry and the market, capital market here in Taiwan. End of last year, we have 1,051 listed electronic companies. The total revenue of those companies was $1.18 trillion. And 53% of them, they are mass producers, include Foxconn, Wishong, Weyin, and the Eventech company as well. The top 20 companies, EMS company in the world, 9 from Taiwan. And the top 20 companies co-create $20 billion last year. But 70% from Taiwanese company. So we are the key player. But based on personal computer, there is a true, and now people rely on us to produce AI servers and others. There is a reason why we have so bright, so competitive semiconductor industry. Not only because TSMC, but because the ecosystem here we have today. So many people admire TSMC. That is true. They are so successful. But maybe you didn't know, the market value of Taiwan last year, end of last year, was 3.5 trillion US dollars. 3/4 of them contributed by electronic companies, which means it's about 9% of the top 8 tech giants of the world, includes Amazon Web Service, includes Microsoft, Apple, Meta, the top 8. They co-create 25 trillion US dollars about. So we have 10%, but we are a small country. Only 0.7% GDP of the world. So we're lucky. The reason why we're lucky because population density. Most of the high-tech companies in Taiwan, the headquarters located in Hsinchu and Taipei area, 1 hour distance. So even we have 7 great earthquake, we need to go back to the factory easily. We can ride our motorcycle or even bicycle. We can go home.
U-bike, my favorite.
Right? So we are successful not because only we work hard, but because of the environment we have today. So for future, we need to think about how to help others. Our government emphasizes one thing: Taiwan can help. What means for Taiwan can help? Now we are the #1 market share in the world, so we need to define the market by different definition. How to build, how to help European countries to build their own data center. How to migrate our mass-production base or sites to ASEAN countries, to Malaysia, to Vietnam, to Thailand, many countries, even India. We need to think about how to co-work with them. The co-create, co-share, co-enjoy all of the fruits of the industry development. That is the mission of Taiwan we have today. So I think we need to think about more way, more different perspectives to think about global cooperation. So we are so good, but we need to shake hands with others, even because we are small potato. Thank you.
Well, you have perfectly transitioned us to broadening out the topic as we welcome our 2 gentlemen from Europe. And I'll begin with you, Director General Tietz. In Germany, you've had a huge influx of cooperation just in recent years, right, with Taiwan. Even groups of German exchange students coming here. Obviously, TSMC is coming very soon to Germany. So can you speak to Germany's role and how Germany and Taiwan can cooperate in this new exciting era of AI?
Sure, thank you for having me. The president just said he's very proud to be president at a time of spectacular growth of Taiwan. I can say the same. I'm very proud to be the Director General of the German Institute in times where our staff has within 2-3 years doubled. We are the only growing foreign mission of Germany in the world. And the reason, of course, is that the cooperation between Taiwan and Germany in the last 2-3 years has grown tremendously. It is not only TSMC's investment in Dresden, the only European investment of TSMC. It is also the investment from Germany in Taiwan just last year has gone up more than 200% in 1 year. Merck is an indispensable building block of the semiconductor supply chain, has just opened a new factory in Kaohsiung. So our economic, but also our science and research development has really skyrocketed. In 23, we have signed a cooperation agreement, and within 3 years since then, Taiwan has become the #3 partner of Germany in terms of money put in by the German government into joint research projects. So this is within 3 years from somewhere in the middle to the very top, and also our political cooperation has increased tremendously because during Corona we have realized how important supply chains and safe supply chains are. Many of our politicians have woken up during that time, and that is why we have constantly stressed in the last years that peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait is crucial for economic development of the world, and it's not far away for Germany. It concerns our core national interest. So in every possible area, relations are doing great. All we have to do is continue. I think Taiwan and Germany are natural partners. Just imagine the potential of German's traditional strength in precision manufacturing combined with Taiwan's strength and trailblazing role in AI and computing. Imagine what we can develop together in new products in every area. It's a great future I'm looking forward to.
And we have saved, I don't want to say the best for last, because everybody up here is great, but the Director Paris, who has the perfect name as the representative of the French office here, and I'm sure that's not the first time you've gotten that. You were talking about how this is a huge opportunity for Europe and for France to partner with Taiwan, in terms of the startup culture on the software side. Speak to some of that.
Yeah, I can only agree with my colleague Carsten that we are very lucky to be in Taiwan at the time when Taiwan is writing history, at the time when Taiwan has never been so central in chain of value. But with luck comes responsibility. And I think we all have, governments, private sectors, a joint responsibility to keep democracies as leaders on this AI revolution. And we know from geopolitics that this is not a given, and that implies a lot of joint efforts. And I think the good news between Taiwan and Europe is that we are not competitors, and that Europe is making a lot of efforts for what we call reindustrialization. But this is not about trying to replicate what Taiwan has achieved. We know that we won't succeed in that. What we want is to partner with Taiwan. And we are perfectly comfortable with the agenda of keeping Taiwan as number one for AI infrastructures. We are perfectly at ease with that. To achieve that, we need to keep innovating. And as President Leitzinder said, it's a huge challenge for Taiwan to keep the lead on innovation science. And it happens that a lot of scientific excellence comes from Europe. If you look at, for example, quantum science that has been quoted by President Lai, a lot of leaders of quantum scientific leaders come from Europe. We brought 2 years ago French Nobel Prize on Quantum to partner with the key leading in universities in Taiwan. So this is how we can stay together number one and take the opportunities of the next innovation. Second avenue for cooperation is complementarity. In France, we have more than 1,200 AI startups. The most known one is Mistral AI, which is already worth 12 billion euros on the stock market. These companies, they need to scale up. They will need hardware infrastructures. Where are they going to find this infrastructure? They are going to find it here. So this is how we try to partner with Taiwan, is to make the most of our joint assets and to make the most of our complementarity.
Do you, and this is for both of you, is there any effort on the part of Europe to try to build a similar ecosystem like there is here in Taiwan? Or is the future going to be a close connection and a close collaboration between this island and with Europe, for either of you?
I can follow up on that. I think it has to go both ways. As I mentioned, what we are trying to do from the French perspective is to bring the maximum of young startup companies here in Taiwan. Last September, we brought an unprecedented number of startup companies to Summicon. There will be a lot of them coming to also to Computex next June. And we are initiating stories of collaboration. but it also has to go the other way around. And last June, I had the opportunity to travel back to Paris to the Vivatech exhibition, which is our own Semicon event with Taiwanese startups. And they also find there new opportunities to address the European market. And because, I mean, Taiwan is famous for its big names, and a lot of them are in the room today, but Taiwan has also needs to develop its own innovation startup ecosystem. And Europe is one of the best platforms to achieve that.
What about from the German perspective?
Of course, we are already trying to build also an ecosystem in Dresden. TSMC came to Dresden because there was already the most advanced European ecosystem in that area. And with TSMC there, we are hopeful to grow this, attract more of the supply chain. But we know that in this area, we will not compete with Taiwan. But what our goal is to bring the critical parts of the supply chain also to Europe. And what TSMC is producing in Dresden is mostly for the European market. So this is not only a business case, that is also a national security case, that we have the production and the environment of what our industries in many other areas still need, to bring that into Europe and make us independent. I just attended a panel last week where a minister of the Taiwanese government said, we can be your non-red supply chain. That is a great start. And also if we bring that supply chain by cooperation into Europe, that is, of course, the best case for the future of our industry, because we have seen, if I can speak frankly, we have seen that now big powers in the immediate neighborhood here are using every leverage they have, economic leverage, to coerce also political concessions. Everything is used. So being more independent is certainly one aspect that makes the friendship between Germany and Taiwan especially valuable.
Mr. Shi, do you feel that Taiwan is an environment today that's just as ripe for the innovation that you began 50 years ago in terms of AI startups and that sort of thing? Do you believe that more of that innovation can continue to be coming and even grow from Taiwan?
I think the Taiwan position is the friend of the world for every country. And we try to work together. So in the past, we worked with US for microprocessor application and the semiconductor. But for the future climate change, I think Europe is the leader. But how make that commercialize a technology from Europe, commercialize, industrialize in Taiwan is the direction. So we work with every country for make the Oriental civilization. So we are working for the best for the world, the contribution for that. Actually, with the new government, they're talking about the prosperity of the friendly country, 农邦计划. I think that is the good direction, because from the political point of view, Taiwan is not fair. But for the economic or in the cultural point of view, Taiwan can represent an important contributor for the global society. That is the Taiwan future direction. Through the technology, through the culture, is very, very important.
Deputy Minister, I've seen some very exciting statistics, 500,000 new high-paying jobs related to AI. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the huge opportunities, how the government will support those opportunities, but also about the jobs that could be eliminated because of AI, and what is the plan here in Taiwan to support people who might lose their jobs as part of this AI revolution?
确实 AI 它是一个两面刃呐，就是说你怎么样来运用 AI， 而不是被 AI 来驾驭哈。 那我想人的价值是在于，就是说我们可以思考，而且我们也可以来这个解决问题。那再来就是说我们可以创造价值。那所以 AI 的一个应用，它带来人类整个文明产生的这样的一个巨变哈。那我们怎么样能够教育我们的这个民众，然后来善用 AI？这个其实也是我们新 AI 10大建设里面非常重要的一环哈。那也就是说，我们希望能够让产业、让全民能够来善用 AI， 成为 AI 的主人哈。那所以不管是从我们的基础的教育，还是说我们现在的在职的训练甚至就是说我们未来在这个工厂的这个运用上面我们都希望能够把 AI 能够带入到这个场域里面，然后也能够让这个场域里面的这些劳动者，他能够来运用 AI 来协作那所以不管是在制造业，不管是在服务业，那我们已经开始启动了一个这样的一个 AI 的一个辅导团。那我们的目标当然就是说，我们希望能够把台湾的这个百工百业，台湾的这个中小企业，甚至就是说，我们希望能够把 AI 的这样的一个生态系，能够从我们的产业界能够开始能够建立起来。那当然AI 许多的这些应用的工具，现在正在发展当中，而且进步得非常的快。那我们怎么样能够发展我们的主权的 AI， 然后能够让我们的这个 AI 的一个应用，能够更有台湾的一个产业的特色，然后甚至就是说怎么样能够把 AI 的这个价值发挥在我们的这个生产制造的现场。那这个其实是我们现在政府在跟产业界一直在努力的一个方向。所以面对少子化的这样的一个趋势 ，AI 它的出现刚好可以解决我们这样的一个问题。但是 AI 它不应该是取代人类，它应该是要去叠加在人类的这个工作的这个价值上面，它应该要能够扮演是一个人类的一个工作上的一个好伙伴的一个角色。那我想我们现在政府就是正在这个推动这样的一个目标。刚刚总统也提到，我们在未来2040年我们就要训练50万的这个 AI 的一个培训的这个人力这个是我们整个国家的一个目标。那当然整个教育的体系我们跟教育部、跟国科会、跟数位部我们也希望能够把这样的一个 AI 发展的契机，带动这个 AI 产业化、产业 AI 化，那未来能够让整个工作的价值提升，也能够改善我们国内的这个国民的这个所得分配的这个状况。
I think anyone that's using AI as a tool in their job now, and I certainly can attest, it's remarkable. It can analyze data sets very quickly. It can translate documents. It can give you a summary. But sometimes, and I don't know if any of you feel this way, I sometimes wonder if it's really as smart as everybody thinks, because I got into a fight with ChatGPT the other day when I asked it a simple question. What was the day that the Prime Minister of South Korea went to the White House for an unscheduled visit with Trump? And it then got into an argument with me for like 5 minutes about that South Korea doesn't have a prime minister, and they do. And I'm like, you're wrong. I mean, we're going back and forth, and I'm getting heated with my phone, and I'm thinking to myself, how is this thing telling me false information? And then finally admits, oh, that's right. Sorry, I was mistaken. So Ambassador, do you think that AI is going to be as this spark that we're all hoping for? Or do you think it's a little bit overhyped? I mean, you've been following this industry very closely. And is it wise for any nation to put all their eggs in the basket of AI, or should there be a more diversified approach in terms of developing the hardware to support it, the robots, the EVs, the other technology? What do you think?
Okay, you can get any answers from ChatGPT or Google, but you need to define good questions first. So you mentioned about how to cooperate each other, like work with France, with Germany. To define the question is more important than anything else. Now, we need a new global view about international cooperation. I just paid visit to Germany recently. I paid visit to Siemens in Finland. Why we need to visit Siemens? Because sensitive products move back to Taiwan for mass production. Then we need smart manufacturing. and we need solutions from Siemens. And also power consumption, efficiency. We need key components from Infineon. And people talking about EUV machine, but people didn't know 1/3 of the BOM of materials actually from optical, which is a contribution from Zeiss. Am I right? So that is very important for anyone else. Second, because GPU price is so high, you may didn't know, the first quarter after ChatGPT, NVIDIA revenue was $7.19 billion. But last quarter, expanded to $68.1 billion, 9.5 times than 3 years before. So you need a reliable environment ecosystem to help the products or services happen. Now, people only focus on Amazon, Google, Microsoft's needs. But my philosophy is about sovereignty AI. We need to help or co-work with the countries that want the security about the data. You need your own data center. So you need to talk to Taiwan. There is a new definition. Actually, originally, no one talked about Taiwan can help them to build a data center for them. Now you need Taiwan because I checked before. 2024, American have been imported $71.9 billion from overseas for AI servers. 67% from Mexico, 26% from Taiwan, but Mexico also produced by Taiwanese maker, right? Even China. So we need to think about Taiwan now. It's an anchor, it's a hub for manufacturing to realize all of the products together. So Taiwan is harmless partner for everyone. We don't have any threats. We just try to help people, try to create more value for everyone. So even Taiwan also need to redefine our position in the market. So I would like to recommend our government take new actions. You know, last year I was invited by Singapore, actually Bank of America. We host a big event, not big, cross-store event to discuss how entrepreneurs in Asia can work together. Then December, last year, I went to Madrid, Spain, which is hosted by Bank of Europe, to talk about semiconductor industry in Europe. But everyone say Taiwan take too much. We have too high market share for that kind of things. But they didn't know why we deserve for. So also Taiwan need to talk to others to share our position and status quo. They cannot describe what's different from Taiwan and Korea. Our industry clusters are totally different from each other. So sometimes Korea is good, sometimes Taiwan is better. But if you know how to leverage Taiwan, you know, today most of the foundry, logic IC, advanced chips produced by Taiwanese makers, but memory is still owned by Korea. We need to work together. Otherwise, we cannot make the things efficiently. So I always try to convince people, redefine Taiwan position in the market, and we can help each other to do things better. Thank you.
Director Paris, we were talking about the issue that the Deputy Minister mentioned about sovereign AI, and you wanted to touch on some of the concerns that you want the whole world to benefit from AI as opposed to just individual regions. Can you speak more about that?
I think Ambassador mentioned the hot topic, which is sovereign AI. Before having the luck of being posted in Taiwan, I spent a lot of my career in other geographies, and especially on the African continent. And there's not one government, whether in Africa, whether in Southeast Asia, whether in Latin America, who is not looking today for the solution to have its own sovereign AI, which is, if we want to sum up, how I will use my own data without losing control of it. And today, For all of these governments, which are, by the way, 2/3 of the planet, there is no satisfactory solution. Because a lot of these solutions are already about predation, loss of control on data. So this is where I think there is an important avenue for collaboration between Taiwan and Europe. Because it's good to speak about how we can cooperate our own ecosystems. But I think we should also think about how together we can reach out to the rest of the planet. And this is, I think, the real challenge. Not just combine and stay by ourselves, but combine our own assets, which is software and hardware, and propose solutions to the rest of the world.
Also, talent development is crucial, isn't it? And you were talking about steps that Germany's taking. How do you see Taiwan helping the world to cultivate the next generation of talent, and how can Taiwan work with nations like Germany to do that?
Well, when you look at talent building, we have we have this very exciting cooperation program where we bring German students, and it started with the University of Dresden, where a TSMC will be located. Bring German students here for an exchange year and also have them work at TSMC. So training on the job for future employees of TSMC factory. And this program became so popular in Germany that now the National Ministry of Science and Research and Education allocated money that we roll it out to the whole country. So from this year onward, we will have 100 German students every year coming to Taiwan to study and work in this industry. And I think this is also something that is very useful for Taiwan, because with the demographic problems that Taiwan faces, you cannot fly your technicians to the factory in Dresden to staff it. So, and this is a wonderful way to already start at an early level. But let me make one remark to the question before, when you said, is it hyped or is it really the big game changer? It will change the game, no matter how big, but the important question is, will this AI revolution, will democratic countries of the world remain at the forefront of this AI revolution? When we look at AI and when we discuss it today, we see the possibilities, how it can help solve demographic problems, how it can help, how it can serve the people, basically. If authoritarian countries look at AI, they look, how can I use this as a weapon in destabilizing other countries, in gray zone activities. We see all this foreign information manipulation today, and imagine also the danger when AI is employed to help destabilizing. We see it from Russia every day. You see it from China every day. And if we, as democratic countries, are not careful to remain at the forefront of this development, that we can create an international standard for responsible AI and avoid it being turned into a weapon against us, I think this is a very important area where we need to cooperate.
And I'm glad you raised that, because democracies are particularly vulnerable when you're not controlling the information that's spreading online. It's very easy to be attacked. I'm curious, Deputy Minister, from the government's perspective, what guardrails you feel need to be in place to protect Taiwan and the world at large as this AI does become more advanced, and with those technological innovation also does come increased risk.
我觉得这个未来民主同盟国家的合作这样的一个议题议题设定是越来越重要那从半导体到 AI 的一个基础建设，或是 AI 供应链的一个发展其实这个是一个重要的一个议题所以总统刚刚也提到，就我们跟台湾跟美国之间也 签订了一个系盛世的宣言哈，就是在这个AI 的这个供应链还有主权 AI 的这个部分我们也已经有台美之间也做了某种程度的一些未来的一个携手合作，打造一个整体的一个经济安全的这样的一个生态系哈。那我想AI 的一个发展，未来它可能也会造成很多的一些问题啦哈，就是说如果我们没有把它规范好，那也许它可能会造成许多的这个社会道德，或是说有很多的一些资讯错乱甚至很多假讯息的这些问题哈。那去年政府也通过了这个我们的 AI 的基本法。那这个 AI 的基本法其实它是一个很重要的一个法规，就是未来它在规范公务部门或是我们的产业部门，它在使用 AI 上面，它怎么样来去预控那个风险，那甚至我们也怎么样去做一些规范，这个法规对台湾来讲是很重要的哈。那当然 AI 是刚出现，那怎么样能够让我们在这个法治的一个社会环境之下，能够善用这个 AI， 它成为我们的助力而不是主力，这个都是台湾跟全球的这个问题哈。所以跨国之间的合作，在这样的一个AI 的一个发展的过程里面哈，我们可以找出一些议题大家来共同来探讨。那我想这也是我们台湾跟不管是欧盟国家、美国，甚至我们还有许多亚洲同盟国家大家共同未来可以思考合作的一些这个地方那当然台湾站在这个 AI 的一个这个供应链或者说这个 AI 的扮演 AI 非常关键的这样的一个角色的地位上面，我想我们这个提供全球各个国家发展 AI 的同时，我们也更有这个义务来参与这种所谓全球 AI 规范的这样的一个议题的一个讨论。
Mr. Shi, how powerful do you think AI is going to become? What do you think is the potential of the technology?
I am more than 80 years old, so I think I have to adapt AI also. Recently, I try to bring the wisdom to AI because AI is intelligent without the wisdom. Aged people have more wisdom, right? So I using my one Dao philosophy, bring those knowledge, the create the value, balance of interest, and sustainable development, and the sixth aspect of the value, direct, indirect, the tangible, intangible, current, and the future. Through the investment of the wishful cost to bring a valuable indirection, intangible, and the future invisible value. I bring all of this philosophy into the GDP. GPT have a lot of intelligence, but without wisdom. So I am trying to help the GPT have a wisdom. And right now I call this my cohort persona called Artan. I'm Stan. So Artan. So try to, right now I work with them every day, try to develop the future business opportunity and bring in the new strategy, define all the naming and all those specifications. So AI is really helped me a lot today.
Ambassador, it takes a lot of energy to power all of this. That's a big question mark. How do we work together with the world to address the energy challenge?
Yes, there is a big challenge. As I mentioned, if you want to build a 1 gigawatt data center, it costs you $40 billion. 60% will be from chips-related products, rack or data center. But 40% are infrastructure, which includes power consumption, water, a lot. So absolutely, there's a big challenge for everyone. But I still like to go back to the cooperation among the countries. as you know, most of the sensitive products, like servers, they'll be asked to go back to Taiwan for mass production. But we don't have any trouble or challenges about PC and the smartphone. But we need to think about automobile, electric vehicles, and smart glasses, drones, they're all sensitive as well. Today we cannot think car is just a car, which is a smartphone-like products. They create a lot of data. So Taiwan cannot talk too much about what it means for security. But we can help other countries to build their own devices, edge computing concept in your country. So regionalize policy, strategy, and collaboration will be more important than before. Then power consumption issues in Taiwan will be not significant like before. So take a global view to think about collaboration. They will be more important than before. So that's my suggestion. Thank you.
With our last 5 minutes, I'd like to just go down the row and ask everybody if you have any other kind of closing thoughts after listening to our discussion, beginning with you, Director Paris.
I would like to have a closing word on energy as well, because I think this can be the only bottleneck and the only limitation to the potential of collaboration that we have of the potential of AI revolution. And I would just make a conclusion on that is that what would make sense, I think, is to join our innovation. And there is a lot of innovation in France and in Europe on energy consumptions. A lot of the French startups I mentioned who are coming to Taiwan are bringing new solutions about energy consumptions. We talked a lot about silicon photonics. A lot of them are specialized in that. And the other solution is that come to Europe to produce. I mean, if you're looking for affordable green energy, Europe is the place for that. And especially France, because we made this choice of nuclear energy, which is decarbonated energy. So if you want to produce massively semiconductors for the European market, do it in Europe.
Director Tees?
Yeah, we have all seen, let me also talk to energy, that the war in Iran now has opened our eyes one more time, that there is an Achilles heel to the AI world. If there is no energy, it will all not work. And how fragile the international situation is and how easily you can be cut off from the daily supply of fossil fuels. This has sparked 10 years ago already the decision in Germany, we want to be independent of fossil energy resources that we don't have and that we mostly have to get from countries that have no democratic values as we do. So our energy is renewable, it's the choice. It is called in Germany freedom energy, because that is something where we are not dependent on a supply chain, where supply chains cannot be interrupted. Of course, you will never be able to power everything by green energy, but a substantial part, and especially for Taiwan's position as an island and vulnerable to cut-offs of fossil fuel imports, green energy would certainly be, maybe also together with nuclear, something to get this energy independence that Taiwan needs to power all the data centers independent of being coerced from the outside by just the threat of cutting fuel imports.
Mr. Shi.
I'd like to add on. I have envisioned again a couple of years ago, Taiwan should become an energy import country into the energy export country. So right now I work with Germany about airborne wind, try to commercialize that in Taiwan and develop a new product, and also with European about the green energy technology try to commercialize the industry that for in Taiwan help together. So because energy is so critical for the civilization. Okay, thank you.
Deputy Minister.
AI 的发展的议题非常的多哈，那当然就是如同刚刚大家所提到的哈，从能源到这个主权 AI 到算力的部分哈，其实都需要许多的国家大家一起来合作，所以这个怎么样去把这些友盟国家、民主同盟国家大家共同集合起来，共同来因应着整个未来全球 AI 发展的一个趋势，是我们现在台湾正在努力的一个方向。那所以我们现在采的这个所谓的经济外交哈，那其实也都是用这样的一个主题哈，我们希望能够跟世界这些民主同盟国家共同来探讨这方面的这个议题哈。那所以这些议题其实对台湾来讲都是非常重要哈，尤其刚刚大家提到能源的议题，大家也知道说台湾在做2次能源转型的过程里面，我们也很多的技术都来自于欧盟国家哈，很多的 support 也都是来自于这个我们的邻近的这个日本这些相关的技术的支持哈，所以可见的就是说台湾在发展更多的这些包括5大信赖产业的同时，其实我们如果不越来越能够开放自己，能够让世界走进台湾的话，其实我们在发展我们会受到很大的限制。所以我们现在很大的一个策略就是说，我们怎么样能够这个运用我们的这个经济，能够跟世界做朋友，这是我们想要做的。
Okay. I would like to emphasize mutual investment. You know, in case of the diversified products, time consuming is most important issues we need to talk. But Taiwan only have limited resources, includes manpower, lands, a lot. We don't need FDI now, but we need new talents, good concept, products. That's why I say European countries need to think about how to invest Taiwan. As you know, we have more than $600 billion foreign currency reservation, so we don't need money. But we can invest in your country as well. For funding, then people know each other better. Then we know how to work together. So I emphasize mutual investment, but understanding behind that. So I suggest, again, Ministry of Economic Affairs can host global event, invite world-class companies to come to Taiwan to talk how we can work together. Now, they like to come to Taiwan. So we are different from before. So we can do more things than before as well. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for a fascinating conversation. Appreciate all of you. Thank you.